our sessions. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to today's session of Shri Īśopaniṣad, Mantra 14. And we have been discussing few things. We have the theme, and we shall resume and try to conclude it today. And hopefully have a great session, great discussion as expected. So let's go for that. We shall. All right, that's okay. Okay. Sorry, Aaron is here next to me. He was suggesting a few things. So this is all due to Srila Prabhupada's blessings. Let's pray our homage to the Lordship, and then we shall resume. Feel free to join me in the Mangalacharan. Om. Ajnanatimirannasya jnanajnanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathavitam Sajivam Sadhvitam Savadutam Parijanatam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Paramami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva Patikanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshitarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for everyone's presence, everyone's association, and looking forward for the session now. So where we ended last time, and I was about to say, but Mataji has just dropped out. So hopefully Mataji will join back soon. So what we have already revised, let's quickly jump onto where we were. So we did discuss the Asambhuti and Sambhuti. The theme we have, the worship. So based on the knowledge in Mantra 9, 10, 11, now Mantra 12, 13, 14, the theme is for the worship. Sambhuti is the correct worship. Asambhuti is not so desirable, but of course, it's the so there is a very famous book called 50 Shades of Grey. So life is not black and white. We have 50 shades of gray in between, which means that a lot of times it's not just right and wrong. It's where we are compared to that, how we can progress further. And that's how. So Mataji had asked a great question that what's the dharma? What's my dharma? How we will figure out. And interesting enough, I was hearing another lecture where it says dharma as the religion. Well, again, very loose translation of the religion because dharma cannot change, but religion can change. People do change religion. But dharma is the intrinsic property of something. So the only thing is we don't realize because we are spirit soul, we are spiritual, but we are so much conditioned living in this body that we associate ourselves a lot more to this body rather than the spirit soul what we have. It's very similar to like there is a lamp, and if that lamp is burning in the Middle East where it's very hot, then that lamp might give a lot more heat. It will be because obviously the surrounding is already so much heated. But if we take that on North Pole where it's cold all around, is the same lamp. The intensity of that lamp will stay same, doesn't really matter where it will go. But the apparent feeling, how effective that lamp will be, it really depends how the surroundings are. And that's exactly what we have. So the spirit soul is there, but because we are so much conditioned in the body, that because of this body, now whether we would like to keep this body materially engaged, which means the lamp is there, but outside it's all desert, outside is hot, outside is material. So the spirit soul inside, that reflection will not reflect. But if we'll engage this body, in this material body, into spiritual activities, whether visiting the temple, listening the lecture, being associated with the devotees, or serving in the temple or in the community, these ways we could spiritualize the body, the actions of the body, and then the spirit soul, that reflection, that jyoti we have, we will able to feel a lot more warmth from it. And that's how the whole concept is. But Krishna has given a lot of gradations. Like in chapter 2, if we see, what we have there is Krishna says, okay, do this. If you can't do that, let's do this. If you can't do that, at least do this. So again, chapter 3, we will see in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Nishkam Karma Yoga. Do the karma, what's your dharma, what you're supposed to do, what you are good at, the skills I have given to you. Just serve the community without expecting anything in return. But if you can't do that, then do sakam karma, which is do good karma and expect good. It's okay. So when people go to the temple, and this is where the religion, so in the lecture it was explained that there is a lower grade of religion. So sakama karma is actually considered as a lower grade. Where we go to the temple, we are doing a good karma and people are religious. So one of the example was given that one of the Prabhujis, he went to the temple and it was Sunday. On Sundays, it's a great crowd. And he was excited because after the prayers, we have Bhagavatam class and he was expecting. So he thought, wow, today I'm going to deliver the Bhagavatam class and it's such a nice topic. I will have a great opportunity to preach to so many people. And at Manor, we have the Bhagavatam class in the temple or sometimes in Krishna Haveli now. But some temples, they have separate rooms. So the lecture happens in a separate room and not in the lordship where the altar is. And in Mayapur, a lot of lectures happens at the same time because of the languages. So Bengali will happen one place, English will happen one place, Hindi will happen one place. So this Prabhuji was very excited that just to see the crowd. Wow, so many people are there and so many people will be there in the lecture. But half an hour later, when he went in the lecture room, he was expecting the lecture room will be full. He said there were only 20 people and half of them were on the mobile. And he thought about it. He said, there are so many people out there. How come they are not in here? And that's what he compared. He said, because people would love to go to the temple and the reasons will be different. Either they are looking for the blessings for what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. that I protect what you have. So people might go there that Krishna, oh, keep my job, keep my health, keep my parents, my children's health, keep the fortune I have, the past, what you have, please keep it. Or Krishna says, I give you what you need. So please, Krishna, you said in Bhagavad Gita that I need this promotion, I need this job, I need a child, a son, a daughter, or my family is not doing well. Could you please take care of that? So either to maintain what you have or to request something you want rather than what you need. So people are out there doing puja, and then Prabhuji said that that is considered it's still religious practices, but these are lower grade of religions. But when people come to the lecture, then people would like to understand how to surpass this lower grade. How to, so from sakam karma, so vikarma is negative. You do something bad, right? And bad reactions will come. Sakama, when you do going to the temple, giving donation to the temple, maybe looking at the prayer, getting association, but you still have a desire to have something back in return. And that desire to, when we do the action with that desire, that's sakama karma. But after that, when we serve Krishna, a lot of monks in the temple, they don't have any desires. I mean, what they could have, they have left everything to be there in the temple because they know now they have realized what I would say I haven't realized because I'm still in material world, engrossed in material life, that spiritual life got a more higher priority than the material sense gratifications. So this is the comparison between asambhuti and sambhuti. But it depends where we are. So in mantra 12, demigods to impersonal. Mantra 13 will say that anything other than Supreme Personality, anything apart from Krishna is lower grade. But when we go to the 14, that it's not only whom we are praying, anything which is material, and it's not just that it's material, anything which is material and we are using it for material purposes. So Srila Prabhupada gave the example of the mic. Somebody asked the question and we had the mic and he said, see, this mic is material, right? Somebody could use it for the Bollywood, Hollywood music, but because we are using it to spread Krishna's name, we are making the spiritual use of this material thing. And that's how we can spiritualize all of our life. Now, might not able to do 24/7 based on our circumstances, but as much as we can. So we are doing it by our consciousnesses that we are serving Krishna rather than giving massage to our own self-ego. And so that's where these grades, the gradations, 50 scales of 50 shades of gray comes into picture. That a devotee will never criticize someone else because devotees would remember, hopefully, his or her own journey, but always appreciate that it's a journey. It's and everybody got a journey to reach to the same destination, and there is no comparison in between. However, we do encourage each other. So, like one of the Prabhuji in the temples asked the temple president that because he used to ask a lot of questions, that don't you get bogged down, irritated because I asked so many questions from you, and because of course you've been practicing for 30 odd years, and I still keep asking, and you must have heard the same questions again and again. And Prabhuji's reply was, the temple president. So his reply was that, but why? Why will I get frustrated or irritated? Because you and me, we are working towards the same goal. So when you ask the same questions again and again, you actually help me to remind me to clarify my basics, to keep reminding me that I need to be on the track. We both and we all in the temple are working towards the same goal, which is Krishna Prema, love for Krishna, self-enlightenment, if you say. So this way, if you understand, it's really good to understand how the association works and what the beauty of association is. And let's move forward. But just to touch base on what Mataji said it last time, that sometimes it's very hard to understand all the transcendental knowledge. Chapter 4 is transcendental knowledge, and it's after Karma Yoga. So in chapter 2, Krishna gives everything in concise form. Chapter 3, Krishna says, the very first thing, let's do the karma. Let's do the karma. Because you got to do the karma. And this is the way Krishna explained that even I do it. I don't need to. But still I do it. Why? Because if I wouldn't do it in the future, somebody might take the example. Oh, well, he didn't do it. He was just preaching. No, I also, because you got to do, even if you won't do karma, you're still doing karma of not doing karma. So we will always engage in karma. But how to purify ourselves? So that's the first rung on the spiritual ladder. And then he explained the next one, chapter 4. But such a nice thing, Mataji said, that it's hard to understand. Our Upanishads explains, Upanishads are very, so like Bhagavad Gita is also very concise. And then the whole purports are there from acharyas. But Upanishads are even more concise. So Katha Upanishad says that those who says, I have understood, they haven't even started understanding anything. But those who have understood, they will always understand that. So because we are on a spiritual path, what do we want to understand? We would like to understand the supreme goal, Krishna. Those who would say, I have understood, they haven't even started understanding anything. But those who have understood, what have they understood? That the Supreme Personality of God is unable. We cannot understand Krishna. So it's a so Srila Prabhupada gave so many lectures, and somebody said, well, you say we can't understand Krishna, but you have given so many lectures to explain Krishna. And he said, the whole idea is, I want to explain one thing, that we cannot understand Krishna. That's the whole reason. So even though we work towards it, and the way the Upanishad says that, so we have Vedas, and then we have Vedanta, the end of Vedas, and then the end of Vedas are summarized in Upanishads. All the Upanishads are actually the part of Vedas, and right at the end of, so we have the big chapters, and in the end we summarize those. Those summaries are Upanishads. And one of the examples are, it says, Upanishad says that we cannot explain what the absolute truth is. We can only, and a lot of spiritual masters, they have said the same, that the whole life, all my work is not, I could not explain, but I have only managed to indicate. Now, what that indication is explained very nicely with an analogy. So in the sky, sometimes we see pole star. If the sky is clear, we can see the pole star. Poles are what we call Dhruv star. Dhruv Tara is considered to be the brightest. But sometimes we can't see. We can see the moon, but we can't see. And if we would like somebody to see that, how we will do? We will say, we will point towards that, right? Or maybe we'll say, do you see that moon? Because everybody could see the moon. Can you see the moon? And then we will point with the finger. Now, if somebody is there with you, maybe a child, you will say to the child, look at my finger. And then finger is pointed to the moon, right? And the person say, oh, is your finger is the pole star? Say, no, I'm indicating only. That finger is not the pole star, but just look at that moon. Oh, that moon is pole star. No. That's also, this is just a reference point. Now next to it, and then this way, slowly, gradually. And of course, there are many spiritual practices, like one of the major ones, again coming from Upanishads, is neti, that we cannot understand what it is. So let's try the reverse engineering, what it is not. So we might not be able to understand what's a spiritual, but what we can understand. And again, this is where we are. So we say, at least we can understand this is not. So a lot of people, when they have the power, because these are the things people look for. They look for the status, they look for the money, they look for the power. And once they have it all, then say, now what? Are you happy? Because all they thought that all that will give them the happiness. But once they have it, they realize this doesn't give them the happiness. But still they don't know what will give them the happiness, but at least they have realized that this will not give happiness. So this is the way it's been explained. This is one of the ways that neti, 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 which means, okay, I want to find it what the real essence is. How will I start? Let's check. This is not. This is not. This is not. Sense gratification is not. Indulging in all the material activities is not. Now what's left? That subset will reduce slowly, 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 slowly. And of course, we all have our baggages as well. Some people, they will just come and they get it straight away because in their past life, they have already worked. Like what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that even a small step taken on the spiritual journey doesn't go waste. And we start where we left last life. So a lot of people will just pick up straight away, but based on our own baggages from the previous life, we might not, we might take time. But we all are together as on the same path. So Hare Krishna. So in these terms, these are Sambhuti and Sambhuti, and even the mantra 9, 10, 11, understand these are reference points. They are comparative. So, and this is the way Upanishads explain, this is the way Bhagavad Gita has explained, that if you can't do this, then let's go a level down and do this. But again, level down doesn't mean that it's a criticism in any way. It's just that we are not ready for it here. And we all do the same way. So if we are in the school, we will start from the bottom. If we are in the corporate, we will start from the bottom, and slowly, gradually, and different people will stay at one place for longer. Depends on, again, how much we are ready for. Hare Krishna. Yes, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Bhakti. What I didn't understand, one of the things I did not understand was when it was one of the slide which shows Sambhuti and Asambhuti both lead to immortality. Was it or did I understand it not correctly?
Yes, yes. This one.
Yes, yes.
So the immortality, the mantra 14, right at the end, Asambhuti and Sambhuti together grant immortality. So it's very similar to mantra 11, where we said knowledge and ignorance will together grant immortality. So again, let's consider, so the immortality here, so the body is not going, body is mortal. So body is going to die. When we say grant immortality, in essence, it means that we will realize that we are immortal, which means we will realize we have a spiritual soul. So when we say when Buddha says I'm awake, what does awake means? That now I know that this is all illusion. Or like what Srila Prabhupada said, it's all temporary. This is not the place for me. I'm awake. I'm not going to stay here for long. And whenever, doesn't really matter how long I need to stay here, whatever I want to stay here for, all that will be with that realization that I'm immortal. So when the family members will go away, I didn't know somebody else could move, or did I move it? So that's the way we can realize that when it says grand immortality, that basically means we will get self-realized. We will realize the true nature. Right? Now, again, mantra 11 says knowledge and ignorance will go hand in hand. Because remember, everyone got 24 hours. Those who will try to acquire spiritual knowledge, which means they will have less time left for the material knowledge. So, for example, I don't follow much politics. I don't follow Bollywood. I don't follow Netflix. So I'm very ignorant when I go to office and people talk about these. So another colleague of mine from Aberdeen mentioned about Eurovision, and I didn't even know about it. Then he shared a clip, but I was ignorant about it. So, and if somebody will spend time for the spiritual and other way around as well, those who will spend time in material knowledge, they will have less time for their spiritual knowledge because we only have 24 hours. So, when we have the knowledge about something, we will be ignorant about something. So that's how knowledge and ignorance will go hand in hand. The only choice and the wisdom we need, that regarding what we want to have the knowledge and regarding what we would like to be ignorant. So everybody would like their kids to be knowledgeable, but I'm sure if the kids are knowledgeable about the wrong things, like these days kids spend a lot of time on the video games and they know a lot more about the weapons, then parents don't want their kids to have the knowledge about the weapons, about the drugs, about the adulteries. So we would like our kids to be ignorant. Now, of course, not ignorant in a sense to know that this is bad. Of course, they should be wise enough that these things are bad, but we don't want our kids to spend a lot more time to understand the details of those things. Rather spend time on the spiritual side to have that wisdom, to have that focus, self-confidence, the meditation we can do through the chanting mantra. Similar thing, mantra 11, ignorance and knowledge go hand in hand. What we say, a sambhuti and sambhuti will go together, which means, so before we saw there is a great example. Before marriage, I used to fast on Tuesdays, and my wife used to fast on Mondays, which I think is very common in India. That most of the people fast, or if you are a bit spiritual, religious, fast at least once in a week, and it could depend. Some people will do a Wednesday, Friday, Saturdays, Sundays, but Mondays, Tuesdays, I think are more famous. Tuesdays for Hanumanji, Mondays usually unmarried women will do. So when we got married, for a while, we managed somehow that she will fast on Monday and I will fast on Tuesdays because that's how we were conditioned, that's how we were following. Well, after a while, we realized because when she was fasting on Monday, I ended up fasting as well. When I was fasting on Tuesday, she ended up fasting on Tuesdays as well. So both of us, for a few years, we fasted twice a week. And then we realized that, well, how about we just combine and have one day? Now, maybe it was easier. So I said, okay, from Tuesday, I will switch on to Mondays. Until today, it's been, I think, nearly 17, 18 years. Now we fast on Mondays. And this fasting on Mondays, this is just a practice we follow as a religious practice, and we have never left it. But it has nothing to do with Hare Krishna movement. We do Ekadashi fast as well. At some point, we started Ekadashi fast. So whenever Ekadashi fast comes, and many other fasts as well. So Ganesh Chaturthi come and Shivratri comes, and so she has few more. Now, if you think about it, that a Sambhuti and Sambhuti, there are few other, because now we chant for 2 hours in the morning. There are few other things. For example, when I used to fast on Tuesdays, mainly for Hanumanji, not for Hanumanji for myself, but in the prayers of Hanumanji, then I used to recite Hanuman Chalisa, sometimes Sundarkans. But now because we have committed towards Hare Krishna Mahamantra and doing 16 mala every day, it takes 2 hours. Then that's Sambhuti for us. But now what we used to do are a lot of other rites and rituals. We could not spare time for those. So they are going away. And it happens automatically. So this is again comparatively reference. Now the similar things if you would like to go on holidays. So if we will go now on holidays, we try to make it a little bit more spiritual. So whenever I go to India, I take my parents for yatras. So we go to different temples, either whichever they would like to go, or where we will plan and they will come along. So this is Sambhuti, but that also means that a Sambhuti is also there, that Sometimes there are many other destination holidays, maybe on, well, the family lives in Delhi, it's hot, and they might like to go on like Shimla, Mussoorie, where people go for hill station holidays, which means we miss out on that because we go on the spirituals. So we go Sambhuti, so we miss out on Asambhuti. So, but Asambhuti, which is we are not going there, that will stay with us. So again, the same thing, we are now knowledgeable about something, but we are also ignorant about something, which means we are Sambhuti, worshipping something like Ekadashi and every Monday, but I'm also Asambhuti on Tuesday because I cannot worship there. I can't spare. I'm not doing fast on that. So that's Asambhuti for me in one sense. So Sambhuti and Asambhuti, they will go together. Like Srila Prabhupada said that there are so many millions of, we call 36 crore Devi Devta. There are so many demigods, and we cannot pray to all of them. But it's like watering the fruits and the leaves of a tree, but better water the roots. Now we tend to do that. Being Vaishnav, we try to, whenever we pray, we consider that we pray to Krishna, we offer it to all the Devi Devtas, and then hopefully they get satisfied there rather than spending time for individual. So, and again, we are not praying to, like many other people follow cricket stars or Bollywood stars, and they are their role models, or sometimes even in the entrepreneurships, people say people like really great young entrepreneurs. So, but we don't follow them. So that's Asambhuti for us. So while we have Sambhuti for some, we definitely have Asambhuti for others. And these Sambhuti and Asambhuti, they will go hand in hand. They will go together. And they will grant immortality. Means if we have the, of course, this is based on the correct understanding of the knowledge from mantra 9, 10, 11, and from mantra 12 and 13, what we should, so the wisdom has been given that what we should be Sambhuti about, worship, and what we should not worship. Materially, we should not worship anyone. Spiritually, we should worship the Supreme Personality, Krishna. And if we have both, not worshipping someone, worshipping someone, these two will be together, then it will help us to realize the true nature of ourselves. And that's what it means, grant immortality. That we will realize the true nature. Doesn't really matter. We are soul, and Atma Jnana, chapter 2 starts, Krishna says, no one can nudge and nudge. No one can, the fire cannot burn, the water cannot wet. There is no weapon which can cut, which means we are mortal. The spirit soul, the spiritual soul we have, which we are conditioned in this material body, nothing could happen to that. And that's what, if we really truly realize that, and not only realize it, when the family members are going, then the way we act, of course, because we've been associated for that long, we might cry a bit, but again, it doesn't take long for us to come back to the state that well, sooner or later that will happen. And there's nothing wrong in it because it's the material body which is going. The soul is still, soul has been eternal. There was a time the soul was somewhere else. The child wasn't there with us. Child was in a previous birth, if we say, was in different family, and will be in a different family next time. But let's work together while we are together in each other's association, that we will not have material birth, and we will truly realize that immortality of our soul right now in this birth, making all our activities spiritual. So,
Yeah. So that means, yes, I've understood it better that when we do something, we should also know we should also know what we should not do something. So their do's and don'ts go together.
yes, that's
Understood.
right.
That's
Right.
fine.
Yes. So, wherever we are, if you are worshipping demigods, then impersonal absolute truth, because demigods are a lot, impersonal God is one. But compared to impersonal God, it's better to pray to the God. We can connect to the form, shape, and the qualities. But after that, everything else is excluded. All the material things in the world are excluded. And the only thing or all the material things which could be associated in our spiritual journey, they are, if we are related to them only. And it does happen. It sounds maybe hypothetical, or this is not practical, we might not able to do it. But we can see a lot of examples that slowly gradually. Right, right. So, oh, right, okay. So let's focus and continue with that where we left. I think this is a great presentation from Prabhuji, where every sentence of the mantra has been highlighted in different, and we have summarized it. But let's go in detail. So again, Sambhutim. So the eternal and temporary. They both will go eternal. What we should consider Sambhuti, the soul. Temporary is the body. One who perfectly knows both. So we do need to understand both. And then can surpass death and temporary. Can surpass death again. The body will die, but the soul will not, which means the self-realization will come. Can enjoy deathlessness with the eternal. So it's not that the purpose is not only to self-realize at the end of the birth, that when we will die, we take the name of Krishna and we will go to Krishna. That's it. No. While we are, this should be our realization while we are living. This is our living experience. When we interact with others, people realize we are always happy. Why? Because these mundane things, they are not big enough to disturb us, because our focus is on something else. And that is much, much bigger than that. And that does happen a lot of times. Let's say if we have if we need to, if you have a debt of 500 pounds, we need to give 500 pounds to someone, and maybe we are thinking, oh, 500 pound I need to give. We are very stressed. Another friend we meet and say, do you have 500 pound? Can we take it? And he said, no, I can't. But I can see you're very stressed about it. But have faith in Krishna, you will get it. And let's say next day we get the lottery. We got £1,000,000. And following day we meet the friend again. Now what will happen? We still have 500 debt. We haven't paid it yet, but we know we won the lottery and the lottery money will come maybe in a week's time. The debt hasn't been paid yet, right? The debt is still there, but what will happen that we know the £1,000,000 lottery is there, which means we know the debt is very less compared to what we have. And this is how it happens. This is how we will see why these little things doesn't affect one person. Because the person, those little things are there. Maybe the pain in the body is still there. Maybe the eyesight is going back, the hearing is going back. But people realize that it is a material body, it will fall. Gradually, it will slow down like any machinery. But the focus got to be much higher. Focus should be towards the eternal. And that's the whole point in it. The eternal personality of Godhead. Now, again, we compared with impersonal, compared to the demigods, worshipping all the demigods, which a lot of people do. And again, it's good, but people get frustrated. I mean, I've seen a lot of, when I used to go to Hanumanji temple every day, something they wanted from Hanumanji didn't happen. And I think it took like 2 years, and they changed the demigod. And we call Isht Devta. They changed the Isht Devta. That doesn't happen. That should not happen. Dharma is eternal. And that's why we say, compared to demigods, impersonal Lord, which is one. So at least understand it's one. So from where all the demigods, they get the source. There's only one source. The roots of the tree, it's only one. And that's the source of the mineral, the water, and everything. Similarly, but compared to impersonal, now personal. Why? Because the Sambhuti of the personal is much easier for us. His name we can take. What name we will take for? So we say Brahman realization. Brahman is a concept of impersonal Krishna, if I say. And Advaita is the one where people follow it. And then there was a devotee, a disciple who was saying the chanting in the morning was the person was saying, I'm Brahman, I'm Brahman, I'm Brahman. And of course, the Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, one of the Mahavakya from Upanishad. And the teacher said, what are you doing? He said, I'm reminding myself. Saying, why do you need to remind yourself? You need to realize it. So if I'm Govinda Das, I don't need to remind myself, I'm Govinda Das, I'm Govinda Das. I know I am. And that's what teacher said. But it's very hard to realize something because it has to be a practice. Now the practice is when we associate with the Lord. And how do we associate with the Lord? By his name. We have a mantra. We can recite the mantra. And not only that, but in the mantra we say his name is there, his form is there, such a beautiful form when we go to the temple. Pastimes, so many stories about Krishna. Bhagavatam is full of not only Krishna, but the devotees of Krishna. And when we hear these stories, now impersonal Brahman, we cannot, there can't be any stories because it's impersonal. There is no personal connection with it. But of course, the realizations could be there. Somebody could sit in the meditation and come out of meditation and say, I had a great experience. But then in words, we cannot explain that. And that's another, it says, um, it's a wisdom of somebody who cannot speak. It's a wisdom of somebody who cannot hear. How that's impersonal. Hence, the personal is much more attractive, and that is where we need to focus, which is the Krishna's name is there. We can take the name Vishnu Sahasranam, thousand of names, but the Lord Rama's name, Lord Krishna's name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is there. The form, so many different. So if we go to Mayapur TV, whichever part of the world you go, whether you can go to the live temple, if not at any time, you can. So sometimes if I'm traveling, I wake up before the Mangla Aarti starts at Manor, because if I'm in UK, I'm always connected to Manor and Soho as well, but mostly Manor, and I connect to the YouTube. So the link I shared when the class started, that's from the Manor. So before the class, the Guru Puja, before the Guru Puja, right in the morning, 4 o'clock, happens the Mangla Aarti, and then the chanting. And you feel like you're connected to the temple. Physically, you feel like you're there, right, along with the temple devotees. So the way we can do it is you connect it. Now, if we are traveling and Mangla Aarti Manor hasn't started, Mayapur TV we go, and you will find Mangla Aarti is happening somewhere else. It could be in Australia. It could be somewhere in India. There are so many different temples, and most of the temples are live on Mayapur.tv. If you would like to, and such a beautiful, of course, Mayapur channel, the deity there, Ashtasakhi, beautiful, gorgeous, and that's the beauty of the form of the Lord. If nothing else is see, and anyone you take will not even know about Krishna, will just stand and get stunned by the beauty of the Lord. And then the pastime, the stories of Krishna were also the stories of the devotees, and that's where the Bhagavatam comes in. Beautiful, so much inspiring stories again and again and again. So Damodarashtakam happens once in a year, and every time it comes, the same story we hear, sometimes from the same speakers, but again, it's so cherishable. Like being the parents, we have the kids, we hear the kids, or sometimes mothers, they spend love watching, I think fathers as well. But I know my wife, she does it, go to the old pictures, especially when the holiday, the birthdays comes for the kids, or just check how the kids used to look like 10 years back. And similar things devotees do with the pastimes of Krishna and the qualities of Krishna. So when something goes wrong, we trust Krishna will save us. And that's one of the quality of Krishna, that Krishna never leaves devotees alone. Krishna is always there to support devotees. And if something goes right, like what we expected, what we wanted, then thanks to Krishna. What Krishna promised, Krishna delivered. So whatever the circumstances are, devotees can always find the reasons, the justifications, the excuses to remember Krishna. And that's how we can spiritualize our whole day. So this is Sambhuti. That in whichever name, form, pastimes, qualities, whenever we are, whenever we are, with whom we are with, we could always discuss about Krishna. And then, but why? Because this is the only eternal thing. Or otherwise, we understand everything else is material. Like mantra 14 says, material versus spiritual. Everything is. And to start with is our body. A mobile phone, if you don't find it for a few minutes, how anxious we become, right? Now imagine if more things associated with us, when more than one, if not only mobile, but we cannot find our car keys, we cannot find our laptop, and more things we are associated with us, if we can't find them temporary, we get anxious. At the time of death, all the things associated with us in one bit will just disappear. We will disappear. So, but again, that's a body, that's a temporary. So we do need to understand. And that's so we should be a sambhuti about the material world, and material body comes in it. Of course, take care of material relations as well. Take care of the corporate world, take care of all the corporate relations, take care of the job, take care of the material body the best we can. We should never give the excuse, oh, I don't want to take care of my body because it's material. No, because this body is the vehicle for the spiritual soul. So we got to take care of it. But just to take care, not for the sense gratification, but to take care, just to realize that this is the foundation where we can build up our spiritual life and surpass. This way we can surpass the material body, all the agony, all the small, like the debt of 500 pounds, this debt will always be there. Like the body is there, it will always fall down. So something will go wrong with the body. And another monk, Buddhist monk, I used to listen a lot. It's been a while, I haven't now. Or I should, I would think. His teachings are so great. Again, his name is Ajahn Brahm. Ajahn Brahmostava, I think, by short Ajahn Brahm. London monk, learned Buddhism in Thailand, and serving now in Western Australia. He's a very funny monk, and he said a lot of people come to me and said, oh, that I was at the doctor, something is wrong with me, I could not come to your lecture because something was wrong and I went to the doctor. And he said, did you go to doctor and you said something wrong with me? I said, yeah. So doctor could ask what's wrong, and then we discuss, and then he could diagnose and give me the treatment. He said, next time you go to the doctor, tell the doctor that something is right with me. I'm a human. I got a human body. Something is right with me. My body must be alive because something went wrong with me. This is the sign that we are alive, because with, as you usually say, smile, because only dead bodies don't smile, and they cannot smile, right? Similar thing, dead bodies are done and dusted. They cannot go bad anymore. But as long as your body is alive, it will go bad. And again, how good we take care of it, whether it's less or more. So we do need to take care of it. If something goes wrong, it's not that if the body goes wrong, pain comes, sometimes we fall, we fracture. It's not because something is wrong. It's because the body happens, right? If the fire burns, we don't say something wrong with the fire. That's the nature of the fire. And as we have said a number of times, the body, the material world, it is dukhalya. We cannot expect anything else from it. We really cannot. So, but if we understand that, then that 500 debt will be there, right? But we have 1 million, even more than that. So if we understand what's there, which is eternal, then we can enjoy. Then and the reassurance is given. The only time we get depressed when we forgot that Krishna has given. Either we forgot about it or we don't have a trust. Maybe we have the trust, but we forgot. And sometimes it happens, oh, we completely forgot about it, like dementia happens, right? We had the trust, but dementia happened, we completely forgot everything. But if we trust Krishna and we haven't forgotten about it, that Krishna has given his complete assurance, then whatever happens, like one of the Mataji said, that if things happen, this is Her Grace Nitai Sevni Mataji from Vishakhapatnam temple. Beautiful lectures on YouTube if you want to follow in different languages, from North Indian to South Indian languages to Gujarati to English. I think she knows like 6, 7 different languages because she's been traveling all her life for Krishna conscious movement. And she gives the example that if so, Mataji has done a PhD in education, and she runs a school, and hence her examples are very practical. Maybe because she deals with the kids a lot. So the example I was about to give regarding Krishna, that if we don't have faith in Krishna, right, what we do, what happens with us, Mataji says, if what we want happens, be happy because we wanted it. Krishna approved it. We got it, right? Whether it's a promotion we wanted, whether it's a good health we wanted, whether it's we wanted our child to succeed on A level and university, whatever we wanted, it happened. Be happy because Krishna approved it. Thank you, Krishna, full of gratitude. But what we wanted, if that didn't happen, be even more happy because our vision was lower. If what we wanted didn't happen, Krishna didn't approve, that means Krishna has much bigger plan, and that will happen. So what we wanted didn't happen, that means something better than that will happen because Krishna knows much more than us. So which means, in essence, devotees will always be happy. Whether what we want happens or what we don't want happens, devotees will always be happy. And this is beauty. Anything and everything we do in life is mainly for the happiness, right? We go on holidays for the happiness. We want sun for the happiness. Oh, we are in London, so most of the time sun gives us the happiness. And my mother-in-law always says that this is the demigod we can see, and no one else will realize as much as London does. So, and of course, respect, maybe not as a devta, as a demigod, but really something, the sunshine, which can make a great difference in our lives. So this is the essence of this mantra. And then we can get further into more details, how Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji has explained something very similar. So the whole mantra we have seen, and if we notice the similar ways, he has explained those words. So the Sanskrit words and the Sanskrit phrase of the very first line, and then the next one. But if we see in the bracket, if we have Shri Īśopaniṣad with us in a book form, right, then the paragraph 1 and 2, that not even science can make this world deathless. True? So it is the what we call Dukhalaya, what we call Vinasha, Ashashvatam, it's temporary, it's going to die. Prabhupada explained first 2 paragraphs, but then Vedas give information about death-filled and death-free world, which means when the devotees live like they are not going to die because they know their spirit soul. It doesn't really matter if the body goes out. And that is the realization. That is what we were discussing, grant immortality. And it would be shown in our, because most of the time people are afraid of death, right? They're afraid of death. Well, we are afraid of death only when we think the body, because the only body is going to die. The soul will not. And if we realize that we are body, we will definitely be afraid throughout our life, because not only that body will go up and down in health, The body will definitely die. Doesn't really matter whatever we do. Doesn't really matter how great the science could do. The body will always die. But if we realize the soul, then we will be happy. Death-free world. And then only by surrender to Krishna can we transcend. And again, transcendent means not that we will not die. The feeling of death, the fear of death, that realization that we are beyond something what dies, which is body. What's beyond these material connections. That realization will come when we surrender to Krishna. And what does that surrender to Krishna means? That when we can see Krishna's, like what we just discussed, Krishna's hand in everything. In everything. And we are discussing Upanishad, Shri Īśopaniṣad. In India, the Vedic culture was that, like I remember in my childhood, I've always heard from my elders that in Hindi, भगवान के मर्जी के बिना तो पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता. Like without the acceptance, the permission of the Lord, even a leaf which falls down from the tree, even that doesn't move. How powerful that is. We think, oh, it's a dry leaf, it's just moving from one place to another, but the wind is taking it. And then we say Krishna is controlling everything. Everything is in control, under control. And we think that when everything is under our control, which means everything is happening as per our plan, we are happy. But everything is out of control, we get very anxious. Because now we don't know what will happen because things are going unplanned. But what we are saying, that it might be going unplanned as per our understanding, but our vision is very low. For Krishna, things are always under control because things are always as planned by Krishna. And when we read a lot of scripture, we keep reading, we realize it again and again. So give up misconceptions to attain immortality, which means all the material world, all the success, everything we work towards that, give up that, give all that material understanding and spend time spiritual, doing chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita, having Krishna offered prasad, and then in the family have that. And then every single thing how we can associate with Krishna and the devotees. So keep listening to the lectures and have that thought process that how Krishna is involved in them. And it's the time now. I would like to thank you everyone for your association. Great discussion in the beginning. Thank you so much, Mataji. Your presence is so great. And I know Ajay Prabhuji and Anil Prabhuji didn't contribute much today, but your presence itself, and I know we have done great discussions in the past. Keep thinking through, and maybe next time we will have a more discussion. Thank you so much. Looking forward for your association next time.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Then Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gurudev Maharaj ki jai.
Jai
Jai Jai Shri Ram.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.